Hello, and welcome to the My Heart to Yours podcast. My name is Stephanie, and the purpose of this podcast is to bring awareness to heart disease by me sharing my experiences and my story. So, on this episode today, I'm going to be talking about my experiences, and this one is going to be a little touchy, a little sensitive. I'm not going to be long with it, but I'm going to be kind of straight to the point. But this episode is titled The Impact Heart Disease Has Had on, or the impact how heart disease affects family and your kids. So, if you're listening to this podcast today and you have heart disease, and maybe you have kids, maybe you don't have kids, but if you do have kids, I'm pretty sure this will hit home. And even if you don't have heart disease, if you may have some other disease, I'm pretty sure that it will help you better understand what I'm talking about. So, so I want to start by saying that having heart disease and having kids can be very difficult. And I say that because most of the time when we're dealing with heart disease, we, we sometimes look at it inwardly. We just focus on ourselves, and a lot of times as anytime someone, just any in general, when you're dealing with the illness, to a certain extent it causes at some point it causes a person to sometimes feel bad or feel sorry for yourself when you're at a certain point, or you might be down, or you might be real ill, and sometimes people feel sympathy for themselves, and so we just sometimes are so inwardly thinking about ourselves and how we are affected, or I can't do this, I can't do that. But sometimes we neglect and we don't think about how it affects our kids or our family. So that is what I'm going to be talking about today. And so for me, it has been it has gone smoothly. It has gone better than I had expected to go, thank God. And there are times when and maybe if you, like I say, if you're going through or you're experiencing heart disease, sometimes it's amazing how great or good our kids take things and how they deal with it. It's amazing. And sometimes we don't understand how it affects them. Seeing, your parents sick, or seeing them not have the energy to do things. And sometimes when the parent is sick, it puts more pressure on the kid, because sometimes when the parent is down, kids have to step up and do things that the parent does. Like, the kid might have to, if the parent's sick, the kid might have to wash the clothes or cook something simple, you know, and most parents have to do all the cooking. But when it's a child that has a parent that is sick, a lot of times the kid has to grow up faster, be more mature, and do things that other kids don't usually do. They have to cook, they have to clean, do more things. And so even though they should, be cooking and doing things, cleaning, but it just seemed like they have to do more when their parents are disabled. So that's one thing they have to deal with. And it's just being more communicating more with them about what's going on with you, asking them, how do you feel? Are you okay? How is this affecting you? Just sitting down, having one on ones with them and letting them know what's going on, you know, that. this is what's happening, this is why, and this is what needs to be done, but it's gonna be okay, and assuring them that it's gonna be okay. So that's another part, mentally preparing them and talking with them and letting them know that it's gonna be okay. Mom is getting better or dad is getting better. And also having people around, having other family around that can assist with kids when the parent is not able to be able to take care of them at the time if they're sick or they're having a day where they don't feel good. Having other people around to, support that understands what's going on and can help talk to the kids and let them know that, you know, mommy or daddy's okay. They're just having a bad day, but I'm here to fill in for them and help out. So that's another thing to think about when you're a parent and you have kids that are dealing with your illness. And sometimes, when you have heart disease and you have children, you have to you might get sick all of a sudden and, you know, being rushed to the hospital, your kids seeing you, being rushed often or having to stay in the hospital often, you know, and then wondering is mom or dad's gonna be okay, just the constant worry of seeing your parent go in the hospital, not knowing if they're coming back. It can be very stressful for a kid, and a lot of kids deal with it so well. And it's amazing how well kids deal with these things, but even though we know it affects them. So yeah, that's just like I was saying, having someone to help support you is very important because having heart disease, you never know, you might have high blood pressure and you might have to be admitted, or you might have arrhythmia, you might have to be admitted for a couple of days. So you just never know what's going on. And for those who have like end stage heart failure, a lot of times they have to go into the hospital, especially when they're waiting for transplants. They have to stay in the hospital for months. And so those months their kids have to have someone to take care of them. And even though I'm saying this and it sounds so smooth and simple, it's so difficult to be a parent and have to leave your kids to go to the hospital because you don't know if you're coming back. So it's hard to console them. Only thing you can do is just be positive and have faith and make sure they have a support system. For me, you know, when I went in for surgery, it was one of the hardest things I've had to do, especially during the pandemic. But it was hard for me because I was like, it's so much going on right now, with the pandemic and going in the hospital and having surgery. And I'm like, I got to think about getting sick and then also thinking about going in the hospital if I'm going to make it back. So even though I knew I was coming back, I had the faith, but going into the hospital to have a major surgery and just the faces on, your child's face, the expressions on their faces, like it just feels like this is it. It's just hard. And if you never had to experience that, it's very hard. It was so hard for me to leave them and just, but I made it through and I'm here today, thank God. And so, but I know so many people that, you know, or I see people every day or every other day that have kids and just thinking about it, they're leaving their kids and things. So I told you it was a hard subject, but I just wanted to bring awareness to that If you know someone who has kids who has heart disease, or maybe they have another illness, maybe they're going through some other illness, whatever the illness is, and you know that they have little kids, you know, try your best to be supportive of them, try to help them out as much as possible because it's such a blessing to be able to have good health and not have to have, you know, to go to the doctor every other month, have to have tests every other month, getting sick every, so often have to go in the hospital. We don't, sometimes people don't understand how blessed they are to not have to think about that or have to deal with it. But there are people that deal with it every day, and have to wonder like, I don't want to get sick, I don't want to leave my kids. What are my kids gonna do? So just be supportive of those you know. And if you don't know anybody, reach out and be a part and, give to the cause, you know, just be supportive. And with that, I'm going to end this episode. I told you it was going to be short, but I'm going to be talking on the next few episodes still about how heart disease affects relationships, families, kids. And so I thank you guys for listening to this episode. This is Stephanie. And until the next time, bye bye.